Hello there, it's Jan from JB Crafts. Thank you for joining me today. Welcome to the channel if this is the first time that you've come across me. It's good to have you. And I have another tutorial today involving 3D construction. So my Saturday videos tend to alternate between card making and construction. So we're actually on the construction side today, and I've got this gorgeous little gift box here. Really cute design, and we're looking at just under 3.5 inches square, and it stands a similar height, so about 3.25 inch, yeah, about 3.25 inches square all the way round. So yeah, nice size to put a little gift in. But the beauty of this one is inside here we've actually got this facility to open, and we've got 2 trays inside that will receive, you know, whatever gift. Now, I've made these before and they are the perfect size for fitting 4 little chocolates in here. It may be that you want to pop a gift underneath with some chocolate in top, any way that you want to. You know, you might be wanting to do this to put craft supplies in for a crafty friend. It can be changed into a masculine, you know, thing very easily. So yeah, lots of different ways, but you've just got those lovely little boxes in there. It all closes together and then your lid just secures it. So I'm going to show you how I've made it. It's not as difficult as it looks. There's a lot of repetition again with it. We've actually got one piece that creates the fold wrap around to create the sides of the box. There's no base in it. The base is actually the underneath of that bottom box. And then there are 2 drawers, and everything's reinforced to make it really nice and sturdy. And I'll show you what I mean by that when we get into the tutorial. The lid and everything is all reinforced around the edges to make it nice and sort of sturdy and rigid. So yeah, really nice little design. So I'm going to repeat it in the same colours today, and my papers today were from the Delightful Daisies collection from Crafters Companion, and I don't know, I just fancied going along the green lines today. So I've got cream cardstock, I've got green pattern paper, and I've got green inside here just to contrast for the little boxes. And then I just added, when it got to the lid, I've just added a tiny little bit of gold in here, just as a, you know, a sort of a complementary colour there. So yeah, we'll pop that one to one side. You need several pieces of cardstock, and I'm going to go through the sizes of those to start off with. So I'll bring all those pieces in, and I've got them ready. We're going to do a little bit of scoring, bit of cutting to do, and we've actually got those ready. So what I'm going to do then is go through all the sizes, and then we'll get into the tutorial. So I've got 3 pieces of cream, and these are going to create my lid. Excuse me. Oh, sorry. So we've got 1 piece which is going to be for the lid, which is 7.25 inches square. And then I've got 2 pieces that are going to create that wrap that make the sides of the box. So one of them is 7.25 by 6.5. And the other one is 6.75 by 6.5. And I'll go through those a little bit more when we come to do the scoring. And then we need 2 pieces that are 9 inches square for the box, the little internal boxes. And again, as I say, everything is reinforced. So I've got some of these all cut ready. We need to add some scoring, and then I'll show you how to put all the elements together. So let's get the scoring board at the ready. Right, so we're actually going to start with some of the scoring, and I'm going to score all the pieces in one go, and then we can pop the scoreboard away. So we're going to start with the lid. Nice and easy on this one. So this is your piece that is 7.25 inches square, and we're going to score it at 1 inch and 2 inch on all 4 sides. So nice and straightforward. It really is just a case of straight down 1 inch and 2 inch, and we're just going to rotate and do that on all 4 of the sides. And this is how we're going to create that sort of reinforced element. We're creating an extra piece all the way around the edge that we can fold inside to reinforce the sides of the box. So we can just see, hopefully you can see the score lines on there. So we've got, you should have a 1 inch column and another 1 inch all the way around, and then that leaves you, the surface in the middle will be the top of the box. So we'll pop that one to one side for a second, and then I'm going to do the side pieces. So again, we've got two pieces, one slightly longer than the other. They are both 6.5 inches high, which is the height that I need for the box. And then we've got one 1/2 inch longer than the other, and I'll explain why we're going to do that when we put it together. You'll see why we need them like that. So again, I've got my score lines here. We're going to do 1/2 inch, 3 5/8, and 6 3/4. So I'll just pop that up at the top there. So we're going to score at 1/2 inch, and I've got my 7 1/4 inch length across the board. So I've got a 1/2 inch down this side. We're going to do 3 5/8. So this is creating one side of the box, and then 6 3/4 is going to create the second side of the box and give me another 1/2 inch tab. Okay, and then I'm going to do the same on this one. All right, so we've got the 6 3/4 now, but we're going to do the same score line at 1/2 inch and again at 3 5/8. Okay, and I've not got that extra 1/4 inch on this one for the second tab, but you'll see why. And then I'm just going to turn this piece over, and I'm going to rotate it so that my skinny tab is at the top, just here. And I'm going to score here at 1 5/8, and again at 4 7/8. Okay, and I'm going to do those same score lines. Let me just make sure those are in the right place. 1 5/8 and 4 7/8. Yeah, there we go. So again, I'm going to do the same on this one. So I'm going to rotate it so that my original score lines are now horizontal, and we're going to do 1 5/8, and we're going to do 4 7/8. Okay, and then we can pop those ones to one side. And then I'm going to bring in the panel for the drawer. So this one was the 9 inch square, and we're going to score at 1 1/2 inches and 3 inches all the way round. It's the same as what we did for the lid, just slightly different measurements. So I'm going to score at 1 1/2 and 3. And this is essentially creating that same grid like we did on the lid. It's just on a larger scale. So 1 1/2 and 3 inches on all 4 sides. And this is going to create that reinforced element again. So everything is really nice and sturdy, because it's something that, you know, has got the movement in it. We don't want it falling to pieces. Okay, so again, they're not easy to see, the score lines there, but I've got those in. You should have a 1 1/2 inch column, a second 1 1/2 inch column running parallel all the way round the edge. And that's my scoring actually complete there. So we'll start with the sides of the box. I'm going to bring those back in here. We need to sort of do a little bit of burnishing now. So with those little skinny tabs, I tend to use the bulk of my card to fold into where I've done my score line. So again, we're going to go for this end, like so. And then I've got my one in the centre. Now you can burnish these into place if you wish. So wherever you've got those nice crease lines, just use your burnishing tool and give them a nice press into place. And then I'm going to do the same with the horizontal ones. I've got the one across the bottom, just making sure now that when this folds, that everything runs nice and parallel here. And the same at the bottom here. And I fold this one in again, making sure that those edges run nice and parallel. And that's my piece ready. We're going to do a little bit of cutting in that one, but just before that I am going to do exactly the same with this one. So I've got just the one little skinny tab on this one, plus my center fold, and again just making sure that when it all closes it's all nice and straight. And then we turned it and we did those horizontal lines across the top and the bottom. So again, give it all a nice burnish, make sure all those folds are nicely creased in place. So I'm going to do a little tiny bit of cutting on these now. So I'll start with the longer one that's got the 2 tabs, because I'm going to do the same thing pretty much to all of them. So in this bottom edge, let me get a pencil and I can show you. You should have this little skinny rectangle on all 4 corners. We're actually going to cut this away on this one. We don't need those bottom corners. So I'm just going to take my scissors, and whenever I'm doing anything like this, I tend to cut the score line away. So I'm going to come to this side of the score line and actually cut that out like so. And same with that one, cut away the score line, and then because this is going to be a glue tab, I usually just take that little notch off the corner. And we're going to do that all the way round. So I'm going to take away the score line again, and I will do the notch at the same time this time. So just taking away that shape, we've created our tab there. Turn it round, do the same. So I'm cutting on the inside of the score line, snipping that bit out, and then the inside again and snipping that bit out. So that's all waist. And then I'm going to do the same to the 2 little skinny pieces that are on our shorter length. So again, up that rectangle, snip it out, and then the last one there. Oops. Just get rid of the score line, and it gives a nice finish, a neater finish when it's all folded together there, like so. So those are all waist. And then the reason I had 2 tabs on this one is because we need to pop these together. So I'm going to do that now. I'm going to use a little bit of my acrylic glue there, just on that glue tab, so that this can be drying. Okay, and then making sure that you've got the score lines nice and straight. So I'm going to bring it right up to the score line, but not over it. And when it closes, you should have a really nice straight edge here, and we can give that a press to get that to seal. Now with a normal box, you would only need one of these tabs to actually fit the rest of it together, but this is not actually going to close. We're going to have that opening element to expose the drawers. So all I'm going to do with these ones on the inside is add some glue down that tab. So I'm working on the inside of the frame this time, and I'm going to fold this one in. This is just going to act as a little bit of reinforcement for that outside edge of the box, so that we've got a bit more substance here on that fold line. And then I'm going to turn it round and do exactly the same on the inside again, on that tab that we've created, and fold it in to the inside of the box, and none of this will be seen when it's all put together. And then we're also going to do the same with these. Okay, we're going to fold these in to create that reinforcement. So this will actually be the outside edge of the box there. But before I do that, I'm actually going to do a little bit of decorating on the outside here. So this is the same top and bottom. I just tend to work with my tabs all going to the right hand side purely because I'm right-handed. And I'm going to change my glue now to my all-purpose glue, and I've got some pieces ready to do the sides here. So again, I've chosen my design, which was from the Delightful Daisies collection, and I've chosen a nice textured cardstock just to put a tiny little border around here. You don't necessarily need the matting and layering. You could just put the pattern paper in here if you wish. So my mats are 3 1/8 tall by 3 inches across. That's going to sit in the panels. And then my piece here is 3 inches tall by 2 7/8. So it is just 1/8 of an inch smaller to give me that tiny little border. So what I'm going to do is stick those together, and you're going to need 4 of these panels to go around the outside edge of the box in your chosen design. So we can get that one popped on its mat layer there. And just make sure we've got that nice even border all the way around. And then I've done this 3 more times. Is there an order? Yeah, we go there. So it's continuation. I've just cut the piece of paper as a strip and then cut it down into its pieces. Okay. In fact, I'm going to bring them so that this one is here, like so. And the reason that I'm doing that is because this is going to be the front of my box. So this is going to be this piece here, and I've got my opening on that front right hand corner. So we can get these stuck into place now. I like to do this while it's flat. I just find it easier to do while it's actually flat. So a little bit of the all-purpose glue, and they should fit nicely in between those score lines there. There's just a tiny little border, and if you're worried about getting it straight, you know, fold your piece here so that you can see exactly what area you're working in there. And it's just got a very, very skinny border all the way round. And then the next one, until we've got all 4 of those in place, like so. There we go. Get that one pressed in place. And then the next one. Just make sure that they all line up nicely, so I can see across the top here that we've got them all running nice and parallel. And then that last one, if you do have a paper that has an orientation on it, then just sort of observe that you've got them all going in the same direction. And we'll check that again when we come to put the drawers in the box. So mine are all sort of facing up that way now. There is a slight direction in mine. And then we've actually got that piece at the ready. So I'm going to flip it over. Ideally, I could do with leaving that to dry for just a second. Actually, I might leave that to dry and come on to one of the boxes while that's drying. So I'm going to pop that one up there for a second, because once I start moving it on the other side, I don't want to wriggle those pieces. So again, if I take the box one, this is the one that had the tracks all the way around each edge. So again, first thing is to fold on all those score lines. So I'm just going to work my way around there. You've got an outside column and then an inside one, and then we can do the cross ones, the outside one, the inside one, and then flip it round, and we've got that last side there. And again, we've got a little bit of cutting. We need to take some of this away. We don't need all the bulk in here. So this time I'm actually going to take away the 3 squares. You should have a block of 4 squares on each corner. So I'm actually going to take those 3 outside ones away, and then I like to rotate. So again, 1, 2, 3. Again, it's those outside 3 corners each time that we're actually going to snip away. So again, I'm going to take those larger scissors, and what I tend to do again is come up that inside. So I've come to the left hand side of the score line, and I'm going to make a nice straight cut right down to where we did, past the first one down to the second one. And then I'm going to do the same again here, but this time I'm coming to this side of the score line, because I'm going to cut that score line away, and I'm going past that first score line up to the second one. And then I'm going to take these 2 squares away completely, cutting away that score line, and then I need to cut away that bottom square. So you'll end up with this kind of shape. And then rotate, and I'm going to do the same on all 4 corners. So straight up both of those 2, straight up both of those 2. We're going to take this one away, and we're going to take this one away. And it does help, you know, if you're doing this for the first time, pop the little crosses on. It does help sort of show which bits you're going to cut away. So again, nice straight cuts. The longer the scissors, the better for this. If you've got a pair of long bladed scissors, you do get a really nice smooth cut. If you can do it all in one, instead of chomping away at it with smaller scissors, I tend to get that sort of jagged line when I use a smaller pair of scissors for something like this. So again, all the way up there, all the way up that side. So it's very repetitive, and we're going to do the same on the lid. It's the same technique on the lid for this, but we will do that in a little while. So again, that's that one and that one. So we don't need those pieces. And then I am going to do a little bit of snipping into it again, just to make it easier to fold. So I'm going to fold all this rest of it out of the way. I just want to expose one of the tabs. And because we cut to this side, I can still see my score line there. So I'm just going to take a little wedge, and that will help hide everything when we come to put it into place. And then I'm also going to take a tiny bit off this side. And again, it is just a little sliver off that first rectangle. I'm only going down to the first score line there. Rotate, and we're going to do the same again. So we're going to address the glue tab first. Okay. And then I'm just going to use that final piece on the outside, that last rectangle. And again, it's a really skinny bit that I'm taking off there. And I'll explain when we put it together why I've done that. Again, exactly the same. Sort that glue tab out first. And then really is a little tiny skinny sliver off these side pieces here, and stop when you get to that first score line. And then the last one here, tab, and then my outside rectangle. So I'll lay this down again now so that you can see what I cut out of it. Okay, so that's what it should look like. You can see we've got our tabs on all four corners, and we're actually going to pop this together as an ordinary box, and then these bits will actually form the reinforced edges. So you've got 2 layers of cardstock on each edge. So the first thing we're going to do is pop some adhesive on the tabs here. So I'm going to use my dot runner for this. I don't have the double-sided one at the minute, so I'm just going to go through all 3 of those with my dot runner. Somehow I've got more of the dots left than I have the double-sided tape runner, so we'll go through these and use these. And then, just like you would make an ordinary box, ignore these outside pieces for the time being. You're going to work on these second solid rectangles, and we're just going to bring this round like you would do any ordinary box and give that a little press to make a nice neat right angle corner. Flip it and do the same again, like so. Give it a press in place. I'm going to burnish that in a second. We've got that one. Just want to make sure you've got a nice neat edge here, and then that one can tuck inside, and that is our 4th one. So make sure that it comes right up to that fold line there, so that everything is nice and square when it's finished. Okay, now this bit's never easy to show you on camera because I end up working inside it, but what I tend to do is lay it down and just use the end of my burnishing tool there against the desk and just give it a good press. Make sure that glue's made contact and everything's sticking where you want it to be. So yeah, I'm just laying it flat and actually pressing against that tab that we've stuck down. And then I'm going to flick back to my wet glue for the next part. Now, I said I'd come back to why I'd just shaved a little bit off here, because we're going to fold all these inside. Just shaving that bit off the corners stops any overlap or any bulk in those corner edges. So we need some adhesive on here, and again, work with whatever you prefer. You know, I'm going to use my Collall glue because it's nice and strong, and again, it's all helping for that reinforcement. If you prefer to use tape, you can do that, but all I'm going to do is use my Collall and pop this all over all 4 of these. We'll do all 4 of them together, like so. Okay, and then one at a time, we're just going to press these inside and squeeze them against the side of the box. So they want to run flat, and they will try and pop up until we've added some pressure to them. And then that one in. And then again, I sort of lay it down so that you've got something to work against, and go in with the burnishing tool again. It's a really nice way of sort of spreading the glue out, and just keep going round. Again, all I'm doing is pressing on that edge there. Keep going round until they've all, the glue's sort of cured and they're all nicely sealed in place. So again, just hold it in there. It just takes a second for that glue to adhere. That one decides it's not wanting to play. There we go. Don't think we've got enough glue, either not enough glue or it is very warm in here, so maybe the glue started, or maybe we didn't even put any glue on, Jan. Maybe that's why it's not sticking in place. How did I only manage to do 3? I bet you were all shouting at me then, saying, "You've missed one, Jan, you've missed one." There's no wonder it wasn't sticking in there, was there? So again, I just keep working my way round until all those are nicely sealed inside that box there. And you've got that nice sort of reinforced structure there, which is you know, nice and robust. If you're going to put a little gift in there, the last thing you want is it being all wobbly and out of shape. Okay. And then the second piece, I sort of did off camera ready, and I've got, you want 2 of them exactly the same there. So these are actually going to effectively stack on top of each other, but they're going to be stuck to the different sides of the box, so that when we open it, you've got one at the bottom and one at the top, and then they'll fold back together like so. So we need some pieces for decoration on here, and what I've done is I've made a couple of pieces to go inside, and these measure 2 7/8 inch square. So what I tend to do is have a look round the edges. You see, this one's got a little bit of a sort of gaping bit here, and decide which bit I think is going to look the neatest. I think possibly, ooh, yeah, maybe this one. And the same here. Have a look round the edges and see how it's gone together. And I think we're going to go for this one. So I've made a front piece to go on each one. And I've got a matte layer that is 2 7/8 by 1 3/8. And then a pattern piece at 2 3/4 by 1 1/4, and these are just going to sit. You only really need to decorate one edge of the box there. So again, we'll pop these on the front. You can do some of the other sides. I'll show you the internals of the other box that's made, but you don't see them really, so I tend to just do the front ones, which will show when you first open the box up. So we're going to put one on there, and one on this one, so I know that's going to be the front of my box. And then again, you know, if you're using a paper that is directional, I'm going to keep those pieces to the front now, and I'm going to drop these inside here. So these are just the right size to slot. That one's still being a bit stubborn there. Slot inside, and there is a tiny little border just around the base of it there, so they can go in the middle. And again, as I say, if you've got a piece that is directional, just make sure what angle you want to look at it from. And my paper's going up away from the front of the box here. So again, obviously when the boxes rotate, it will take this out of direction, but I'm not too worried about that. So if I show you what I mean with this one now, I've got my piece of pattern paper on the front. My opening is here, And you can see when we open it that we've got those two front elements, and when it's open, my directional paper is going the right way there. Okay, and then it closes back in together and the lid secures it all back together. So I'm going to leave those two to dry now, and we will come back to the piece that we were working on. This should be dry enough now to work on the inside. So this was our casing that we'd made, and I'm going to flip it over now, and what we want to do is stick these pieces onto the inside. Again, it's all about that reinforcement, so I'm going to stay with that Collall glue, because anybody that uses this will know that it does create almost like another, it's so rigid when it dries that it's almost like having another layer of cardstock trapped inside. So I am going to bring that one up flat and that one up flat, and just apply enough pressure until that glue is grabbed, and then flip it round and do the same on that top section. Excuse me. Oh, my hay fever is going mad at the minute. I don't know if any of you suffer out there, but yeah, this warmer weather has been playing havoc. And it's very early yet, so goodness knows what the day is going to bring. So yeah, give that some pressure, and you should end up with that long panel now that's got the score lines. I'm just going to reinforce those score lines in the centre there because we've folded them back on themselves. And then again, we'll leave this to dry while we do a little bit more to the rest of the box. So again, I'm going to pop this to one side, pop a couple of my blocks across the middle there so that that can dry nice and flat, and we'll bring in the lid section. Now this is like a miniature version of what we've done with the box, so if you want to fast forward through this bit, it is pretty much the same idea. We've got the two sets of parallel score lines around each side, so we're going to fold and burnish all those into place, and these are just an inch, whereas the box was a little bit deeper. The drawers, should I say, was a little bit deeper, but it's the same principle. So again, we are going to fold all those lines in place, making sure that everything's nice and straight when it's folded. So just double check to make sure that all these edges are running nicely together. And then I've just got that last side to do there on. I tend to do, with anything like this, I tend to do most of the folding first and then do the burnishing afterwards. Okay, so yeah, just making sure that when you've folded it, it's all nice and straight. What's happened there? That's it. Give it a burnish into place, and we're going to do the same cutting that we did on the box lid. So I am going to go for that corner with the 4 squares in, and I am just going to take those 3 outside ones and then treat it exactly the same as what I did on the original one when we made the green one for the box. So if you want to fast forward do this, I might pop in and speed this up a little bit because we're going to do the same cuts. So again, I'll just show you the first one. We're going to go up past the first score line to the second. Same on this one. I'm going to take that piece out, and while I'm doing it, I will actually pop the little angles in, because you saw how I did all this last time. So again, I'm just going to take the edges off the glue tab, and then I'm going to rotate and do the same now on all 4 corners. So as I say, if you do want to skip through this a little bit, I will not be offended. So again, turn it, take those away, take that one away. So we're creating exactly the same piece that we did when we made the drawers. Rotate. once you get the hang of this, you can literally go around and do it all in one go. It's like I did all the cutting first and then did the angling so that you could see where I was going with it when I did the draw. But you can see now I'm actually doing it as I go along. Last one there. So, you know, it takes a couple of minutes, but you get the idea with it there. So again, that one, that one. Take the angles off the tab, and then that very last piece will just need that last one there. Okay, so again, I'll lay that down so that you can see what it looks like. Get rid of all the surplus, and we're going to do exactly the same with it. Okay, so we're going to create glue on the tabs, and then we've got the reinforced sides again. So again, I will bring a tape runner in. Again, use your choice. You know, if you prefer the double-sided tape, you prefer a wet glue, whichever you prefer. And again, we're just going to bring this round and bring those corners together, just like I did. And it's like, as I say, a little miniature version of the draw that we made in the green earlier in the tutorial. So stick all those together. And then again, I tend to just fold these back a little bit, and we will try and get glue on all 4 of them this time. So again, bringing in that collal so that I've got the extra strength from the glue all the way around there, and then these are going to fold inside to reinforce the sides of the lid as well. So it's a nice sturdy little construct when it's finished. So again, fold these in, give them a pinch. I say it always tries to pop up straight away because you're not working against a flat surface, but they will adhere. And it traps the where you've actually stuck the corners together as well. So I do like it when it's all reinforced like this. And again, once you can get onto that flat surface, you've got a little bit more pressure to put on here then to get that glue to make contact. Like so. And again, if you want to pop in, it just makes everything nice and neat when you just pop that burnishing tool. I think we've gone a bit off the score line on that one. I'm not quite sure what happened there. Let me see if I can retrieve that. That doesn't look straight at all to me. Let me just see if I can get that one. Don't know what happened there. I don't know whether my scoring was out or something didn't look right there, but we'll have to go with it because that's how it's folded. But yeah, I can see that that one's not quite straight. So again, just give the pressure in there. So just the same as I did before with the burnishing tool there. And you can see we've got the lid at the ready. So this is going to be the bit that holds everything together when we've finished. Again, for decoration purposes, I've got some pieces to put together. So for the sides, these are really skinny little bits. They are 3 1/8 by 7 1/8. And then again, just 1/8 of an inch smaller at 3 inches and 3/4 of an inch. And I'm just going to pop those last 2 together. I've got 3 more ready done to go around the edge of the box. So again, this can go on here like so. Just make sure it's nice and straight. And then you want 4 pieces to go around the edge. And I've alternated between, you can see with these, this is the pattern side of the paper, this is the reverse side, so I've sort of alternated it as I've worked through. And then I've also got pieces for the top, so I decided to just introduce that little bit of gold in here, and this one measures 3 inches square, so this is going to sit on the top. Then I've got my green matte layer and patterned layer, so 2 7/8 inch square and 2 3/4. There is just 1/8 of an inch difference between all of these. So again, we'll pop that one on its matte layer. Like so. leave that one to dry for a minute. I'm going to stick the gold one straight onto the top of the box lid. And again, you can do this while it's flat if you wish. I just wanted to show you how, you know, where everything went to put it all together. So again, that one's going to go on like so, and I'm going to turn it that way to apply some pressure, and then we can put our pieces around the edge. And this time, because it's the lid, I am going to do all 4 edges. So on the drawers, we just did the front edge that showed, but on the lid, I am going to do all 4 edges, because obviously we can look at that from different directions and you're going to see all 4 of these. So again, just lining those up. Just being careful that they don't move out of position. This is the only trouble with the wet glue. It's good in some respects, but when you're working on something like this that you're turning around and moving about, I don't want them to move. Okay, and this is why I keep flitting between different elements to give the glue time to dry. I do prefer my wet glue, I must admit, but it does need time to just dry so that you don't get into strife with it. And then again, if I just pop that down gently, we can do that last piece. And I'm going to leave the top section until I've got it all constructed so that I can see which way I want the direction of my paper to go on the top. Yeah, there was definitely something wrong with that side there. I've got a proper, it's obviously not been scored very well there, or not folded very well, so do forgive me with that one. I think these are all starting to take now. And then, as I say, I will leave that one to dry again. So we'll pop that one to one side. Now this bit should be well and truly secure now, so we can get rid of the blocks, and we should have now that ability to fold these back, and you can see how we've got now that shaping for the box. Now this is where I said you needed to make sure if your paper was of an orientation like mine is, because the butterfly settled here, you want to make sure that you've got this the right way up. So this is going to be my top edge, all right, and the way that I'm going to do that, if I bring this one back in again to show you, we have got the right hand side stuck to the top of the box and the left hand side stuck to the bottom. So again, with this in place, with this the right way up, I'm going to go for the left hand side at the bottom and the right hand side at the top, and that just gives me a visual of where these boxes are going to fasten in, like so. Okay, so the next thing we can do is get these into place. So let's just make a little bit of space now. We'll pop that one back to one side for a second. I'll pop the lid to dry, and what we're going to do is we're going to attach these ones now into the casing. Now the way I did this was, we've got the front one facing forward here, so again, you know, use something to mark it with. We want to attach glue to this side here, and I want glue on the back here. All right, so it's going to fit like that. This side isn't actually going to be attached to anything because we want our box to open out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some red line tape on this one, because this is the movement element of the whole design. I want it to be nice and strong. So all I'm going to do is add some tape. I'm also going to pop some wet glue on as well, and you might think, you know, that's a bit excessive, but the tape is very sticky. That's the job, and it doesn't give you a lot of leeway with regards to putting it in place. By adding a little bit of wet glue over the top, it just gives you that couple of seconds to wriggle it if it's not quite straight. So it's like a bit of insurance again. So the tape's going to do the job with regards to holding it in place. And again, I'm going to go that way and just secure that red line tape. So when working again with this piece that we decorated at the front, And I'm going to take off the sides first. Take the release paper away. And then we're going to add a little bit of wet glue to this as well. So I'm just going to stay with that collal, and I'm just going to pop it right over the top of the tape, and that's going to give me that little bit of leeway. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to line it up with the top section. So I'm going to use the section that I haven't put glue on, the back. I'm going to drop it into here, center it in place. Well, I'm saying centering it. It wants to go right up to this edge that we're going to stick it to, but I'm also going to line it up with that piece in the middle where we folded the two sections in. And you should find that it'll all run parallel, and then stick your side panel together. You can see there now that we've got that perfect alignment. And again, pop inside and apply some pressure inside there. And once we know that that one's in the right place, this one's easy. So again, we're just going to add a little bit of glue again, just for that insurance purpose. Whoops, put that out of the way. Just in case that first time doesn't quite get it in the right place. And again, I'm going to follow that line in the center here that we created. And you will have a gap at this end. That is normal because we've pressed it right up to the fold at this side. And again, pop inside there and give it a really good press. So we've got the first one of our little boxes in place. And then we're going to do the same, but this time we're going to work on that top section. So it's going to sit like this when it's open. So again, I know that I'm going to need glue on that back panel and on this side panel here. So we're going to treat it to the same procedure. I'm going to put the red line tape on the outside here, like so. And I'm going to put it on the back. So you can see the crosses now make it so nice and clear as to where, you know, you're working, so that you're not accidentally getting something in the wrong place. It just gives you that visual guideline, and you're not in any doubt then as to how this is actually going to work. So again, give that a press from the inside just to make sure that it's all made contact with the sides. And then again, I am going to work with that base piece, the back piece first. So I'm going to take these ones off first. Oops, just the liner. There we go. I'm going to add the wet glue again, and this time I want this bit showing. I'm working on this top section, so I'm going to put the bottom of the box level this time here. I'm going to go with right up to this corner here, and then just pop that one so that we've got a nice wrap, and make sure that everything's running nice and straight there. Again, give it a press, and they should fold together like so. If you've got them in the right place, they shouldn't catch on each other when they fold. And then finally we can do this last edge, and I'm just conscious that I did this the other way to the first one, which there's no real reason. I actually stuck the first one on the outside edge first, but you get the idea. Once you know how they're going to fit together, it doesn't really matter which side you do. But you can see now that this one, again, up against that join in the middle here, will fold together nice and straight. And then again, I can press it to an angle that is flat, give it a press, and you've got your two little boxes. This should meet up nicely here, and you've got them opening with the pattern on the front, the pattern inside, and then the closure. Okay, so that's our box base done with the drawers inside. So that should have given my lid plenty of time now to dry. I'm just working out, what did I do with the lid, Jan? There it is. Lost it for a second then. So yeah, this one now will fit on here, and this is what I meant about leaving this one until you decided. Now the wonky side, which was the wonky side, I'm going to put to the back on this one because it was definitely not cut straight, and then this one's going to sit on here like so. All right, so because I'm going on to that shiny card again, I'm going to use the acrylic glue and just get that base piece down. And then we've just got a little bit of decoration to finish off with. And again, you know, that is entirely up to you how you decorate. I'll show you what I've done. I didn't do a lot on the top of it here, but all I'd done was actually create myself a little sentiment. Now, because I've got the detail at the bottom here, I might put the sentiment up at the top this time. This one, I had more pattern paper showing at the top, so I came down in this right-hand corner. What I might do is actually pop this on the top corner this time, just so that this bit shows on the design. So again, I'm just going to put a bit of glue. You can add foam tape to any of these elements now if you wish. But yeah, I'm going to bring this over to this side like so, and that'll leave me space to decorate here. And all I did to decorate was just cut some little flowers in some scrap of the gold that was left. Oops-a-daisy, what happened there, Jan? Let's put a bit more. We'll try this one. I say it's very warm. A lot of you know that I work in my conservatory, and when it gets very warm, things don't play as nicely as they should do. So we'll try that again on there, and I'll give it a press from underneath. There we go. And then all I'm going to do is add a couple of the little flowers just as accents. Again, you know, you can decorate this if you like to make your foam flowers, or if you've got paper flowers, you know, anything like that. I'm going to go with one, and then I've got a slightly smaller one, and then the die set I use, this one's actually one of the flower centres, but I just thought it was quite cute. And again, I like to sort of offset. Now, I'm not happy with those. Let's try that again. I'm going to go for the bigger one at the top. Yeah, and my acrylic glue is not liking the heat at the minute, so we'll go with a little bit of this one. I don't normally use this for the embellishments, but yeah, I think I prefer that one higher up, like so. And that one can go, because I've sort of reversed it and gone the other way, this one can come, that looks better. And then just to offset it, I'm going to go with one. I think we'll stick it at the top again there, so that we're not covering up any of the design at the bottom. So yeah, this was just to offset that little cluster here, like so. And you can see there that that covers the whole thing now. So you can see why I've got that paper in the right orientation. I've got my fold at the front right, I've got the lid to secure it all, and then when we take it off, you've got that lovely little treat box. Now, the only thing that I did differently with the one, well, I'm saying differently, in addition, if I bring the one in that I made earlier, again, I've got extra pearls on there. I sort of sound like a broken record, but I love the pearls. So I've got a couple on the front here, a couple at the top, and one here, just to bring in some of the green. And then I did actually decorate a little bit of the inside, and this is sort of optional here. I just cut some panels in the cream. It was just leftover scrap from making the whole design. I've embossed them, and I've just put them in those spare slots, so you can see with this one it would be these two panels here and these two at the bottom. But again, you know, it looks perfectly fine as it is, which is why I've left that one plain. It's entirely up to you. You know, you may want to put extra pattern paper in there. It's entirely up to you. You may want to decorate more inside the box. There's a lot of scope for this, but I've just sort of done where I wanted it to head. And I did actually raise my front piece up on a bit of foam tape on this one. But you can see you've got that gorgeous little gift box there. It's something a bit different. People are expecting to take the lid off and it be a normal box, but you've got that facility there where you can hide maybe something underneath, put maybe chocolates in the top, and have a small gift wrapped maybe in the bottom there. Just something a bit different. Okay, so it's a 2-tier gift box. Hope you've enjoyed it. I love making things like this, and then the family end up getting all sorts of gifts because I've now got 2 of these, obviously, so the girls end up getting gifts out of them. But yeah, if you've enjoyed it, consider giving it a thumbs up for me. I thoroughly enjoyed making that one for you today. I do like the construction elements as much as I love my card making, and I will be back very soon with another tutorial for you. So yeah, enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll be back very soon. Bye bye for now.